very often. You know, we have a lot of experience coming back and a lot of 2-3 year experience. You know, there'll be some guys tonight that'll go for their first time in a varsity game. That's always probably stressful, you know. But yeah, we've got a lot of experience coming back. Guys that have been in the fire, that kind of stuff. Guys that have been at the varsity level and how fast it is and things like that. And then we're mixing a few guys that's going to get their first run. Yeah, you know, replacing quarterback with Matchell replacing Matchell quarterback last year. Brady started a handful of games, you know, three last year, a couple of years before, and so you know, he's coming in, but he's got some varsity time under his belt. And just, you know, up front, you know, these linemen up front have been together now for 2 years, and so that's good. And you know, so yeah, both on the defense and offensive side of the ball, you've got guys that have played together for the last couple of years, just with a mix in of some guys that'll get their first action.
So. Let me look at the mix in. I mean, you had some young kids last year, you know, Shevin, and then Shippers coming in this year, and some other kids that are young, but a lot of talent coming up through.
Yeah, and you know, and like Shippers, Shevin Martin last year, you know, as a freshman, kind of started with some special teams duty, and by the end of the year, he's running quite a bit of pistol back for us and that kind of stuff, and that really built the kid's confidence. And of course, he had good winter season, you know, good spring season, you know, and that kind of stuff as far as his other sports go. And we have a couple of the young guys that towards the end of last year, you know, at the start probably didn't play much varsity time, but towards the end we're getting, you know, 4 or 5 plays a quarter, and so look out, that just goes a long ways.
Yeah. So. Offensive line, you go into things this year, and we've talked about this a couple times off air, but it's kind of fun to look at your offensive line. You got a center that's like 205 pounds. Outside of that, that's your small guy this year. Right. A couple of years ago, that would have been you'd have had him a left tackle.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of nice to have you know, you got some size up front this year.
Yeah, and it's been a while, you know, and we did the average poundage out, and this is the biggest O-line we've had since I've been head coach here, and you know, we've had some good O-lines, and I think this one's going to be one that's going to get in there and get after. It's been nice. Yeah, like I said, we were talking about it was nice a couple of days ago. I'm standing there around 3 or 4 of them. I'm like, oh, I'm not the tallest, biggest guy here, you know. I mean, I'm not the tallest, but I'm not the biggest. I'm standing among some linemen here, so that's good. You know, we got some depth there. You know, we need a little bit more depth up front offensively. Defensive line, we got just a little more depth. But yeah, those guys have done a great job of just, you know, the big guys. They work hard and they're strong. They're moving their feet well. And so, yeah, heaviest line we've had in my 8 years here, and so I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, so especially in the line, we're pretty excited. And over the line, we're pretty excited to have that. So
yeah, I know. Same thing. The first thing I look at, people go for running backs.
Right. Yeah.
How big are the boys?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because they'll tell you how those running backs are going to be.
Yeah. They'll make a running back better.
That's right. Exactly.
But so it's nice to have some size up there. Let's talk about this group as a whole on a personality standpoint. You go through this spring season or through the practices here leading to the start of the season. What's the personality of this group? Is it kind of a fun group to coach?
It is. It's a fun group. And here's the deal. You know, a lot of these guys have played together for 3 years. You know, the senior group has played together for 3 years on that varsity field. You know, and the juniors and the sophomores last year, you know, got a good experience with the end of the season and making the playoffs and what that can do and stuff like that. And so the locker room has been really fun. You know, the guys have been real helpful with everything and that kind of stuff. And it's been real helpful in the practice field because you get a lot of guys that, you know, go guy and say on the shoulder pad and say, hey, no, this is how you do this, this is how you do that. And so it's been really good, the leadership standpoint with that. And it's helped the freshmen coming in, fitting really well. They're doing a nice job out on the practice field of really working hard and going at a good pace and that kind of stuff. And so I'd say right now it's a pretty cohesive group, and that's been really good as far as when you get in these hot practices and fall camp and that kind of stuff. You're going to have some tempers flare, but for the most part it's been a very cohesive group.
That's the hard part to coach. So
it is.
You can get that stuff.
That's right, and that's the thing, that's that intangible that, you know, we can control how many times we do reps, and we can control that kind of stuff, but that cohesiveness out of our control, and these guys have done a nice job to make sure that stays together.
Well, let's talk about the matter at hand. We got Oakley tonight at the start of the season, and of course, Coach Fallon's still not his second year there, and kind of we didn't reinvent the wheel. I mean, it's come out and run first and try to hit you with something, catch you off guard. Yeah. What's the game plan going into Oakley? What do you expect to see out of them? They lost some kids.
They lost some kids, but you know, their younger group was pretty good last year, and they got some kids that played as young group last year too. They'll be back, and so that's good. Their running backs are Kentucky on a little scrimmage, and they came over to ours, and so you're right. Coach Fallon still does a nice job of getting his guys ready to go, and it's in his second year. You can tell he's got his feet under him a little bit more than he was last year at this time. Not that he didn't have his feet under him, but you can just kind of tell that there was some uncertainty. When you have a coach like Brandon Rapp that leaves after whatever decade,
2 centuries or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a new guy over there, and so you don't see that now. They look really good, and you're right. They're not going to do anything. By the end of the year last year, they were kind of doing some different stuff, which I think is more what Coach Barnes still wanted to do, and so we prepared a little bit for that than what we saw the first time last year. But it'll be definitely have the team ready, and they're pretty good up front too. We've got to make sure that we get those guys handled, and because they got 2 pretty good defensive tackles, and they got a pretty good line when they lost Gaspin, but the other 2 guys that stepped in there are doing a nice job, so at least had a nice scrimmage, and so we got to make sure we get them blocked on defense. We got to get them off the field. Last year for the most part we got them off the field until the second half. Then we didn't get them off the field as well as we should have, and so we just got to make sure, especially with the heat and that kind of stuff, is get them off the field on offense and let our offense run.
Yeah, and some impressive numbers out of Oakley. I was surprised at 42 kids out. And they're young. They're still kind of relatively young. They've got a lot of seasons. They got some big boys too, and so we're just actually as big as them this year. So that's a good thing. Usually the other teams are a little bigger than us, and we can kind of match up with them. So I'm happy about that. So I guess to sum it up, what do your kids have to do on both sides of the ball to come out here and get a win?
Well, I think we've got to do our game plan. We've got to set our game plan. Our offense has got to get first downs. It's almost like, okay, coach, the old cliche, but it really, especially game 1. Game 1, you're coming off 3 weeks of working on stuff, and you want to go out there and see it work. And you want to go out there, and the kids want to go out there and see it work. And so, we got to have a high intensity level. On offense, we got to protect the football. Game 1 seems to be a lot of miscues, fumble-like things, weird things happen. So we got to be focused, be ready to go, really concentrate on that this fall camp. And we got to score. Last year we were in the red zone a couple times early and didn't score against these guys. This year we got to score. It was 3-0 at half last year. And easily, we could have put in one more time, I think. And that would have helped. Defensively, just like I said, we got to get them off the field. Last year we started the game with a 5-yard penalty, we jumped off sides. We can't do that. We can't give them 1st and 5 on the first side of the gate. And so, we've got to get them off the field. And last year I thought, like I said, we had some breakdowns, but for the most part, in the first half, we got them off the field. In the second half, we just kind of let them grind on us a little bit, and we can't do that. We got to make sure we get 4 quarters in and get them off the field and let our offense kind of dictate the tempo instead of let their offense. So.
What have been your biggest surprises in practice leading up to this first game? We still got to work here.
Sure.
I mean, there's obviously a lot of areas first game of the season.
Sure. Yeah, and we'll probably find more after Friday, and so. But right now, I think our tempo. I think our tempo has been pretty good. But I'd like a little more. I don't know if it's the heat or whatever, but the tempo in practice, we've kind of pushed them pretty hard. It's not that the tempo has been bad, it's just not been as fast as we wanted right now. And so we want to make sure Friday we can get a tempo going and that kind of stuff. And some of the prizes, some of the good surprises.
When the Strut Insurance Services pregame show continues, Thomas Wheeland will join Chad in the booth for their keys to the game. You're listening to the Colby Eagles on 100.3 The Ride.
Are you ready to take your golf game to the next level? A regular fitness, nutrition, and wellness program can help increase your strength and flexibility and master the game you love. This is Dr. Eric Griggs. Discover how the world's greatest athletes use chiropractic care to excel. Call Northwest Kansas Chiropractic today at 460-0332 to schedule your appointment. Northwest Kansas Chiropractic, improving your health, wellness, and quality of life.
Reaching your financial goals depends on the investment decisions you make today. This is Lisa Wilson, financial consultant at Investment Professionals Incorporated. We offer a full range of financial products and services to help you get what you want in life. For more information on stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and retirement planning, please call me at 785-460-3321. Securities and advisory services offered through Investment Professionals Incorporated, member FINRA and SIPC. Products carry no bank guarantee, are not FDIC insured, and may lose value.
This is the Strut Insurance Services pregame show on 100.3 The Ride. It's time for the keys to the game. Here's Chad Jones and Thomas Wheeland.
Welcome back to the Strut Insurance Services pregame show and the Eagles on radio on 100.3 The Ride. I'm joined briefly by Thomas Wheeland tonight, and then Thomas on his way up to Atwood to make his play-by-play debut tonight. and you're completely ready to go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting ready to hop in the pickup and take off up there.
Filling in for Ross Volkmer. He had, 2 days notice?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 days notice. Today's first ever game. So, after we get this huge lead tonight, if you want to tune in, you can catch Thomas on 97.9 this evening with Rollins County, Wallace County in action up in Atwood. Let's talk about this one though, Thomas. Colby Eagles season opener against Oakley, and I look back at last year's team, and again, I talked a little bit with Coach about some of this stuff, but you don't want to get into comparisons to two teams because they are different. But some things happened last year that we picked up on this, and one of them was a leadership thing, and we saw some different things happen with some of the kids, like making them stay after the kids decided, hey, we need more practice, and going out on their own without the coaches and spending some extra time working on things. We saw some success come from that at the end of the year, winning 2 of the last 3, getting a playoff game for the first time in quite a while. That, I think, has made a mountain of difference in the mentality for the rest of them, because when you lose consistently and you're struggling consistently, it's really hard to kind of get back on that, winning side of things. You kind of get used to losing. It doesn't hurt as bad as maybe it should. But when you get a little taste of that success, it kind of builds from that. And I think this group has got some things that they learned from last year's seniors and some of these kids that were juniors and sophomores last year that stepped up as well, that kind of learned how to win a little bit and what it feels like to win and what it takes to maybe get that done. And that's got to be a big difference mentally for a group like this coming into the year as opposed to years past maybe where they struggled.
Oh, absolutely. Those seniors did a heck of a job of stepping up and coming in with the leadership last year. And that's going to translate over to these guys that were juniors last year, now coming in seniors, and they've been on the field since they were sophomores. And there's a lot of them that have a lot of playing experience in the class below them. So they're going to come in here, and they got a taste of what it's like to be in the playoffs. And now they want more. They didn't have a great record. They snuck in there, and now they're going to come out, and they should want more. They should want more in the regular season and in the postseason. So it ought to be fun to hear tonight.
Yeah, the mental side of things is going to be a little different maybe going into it than we were week 1 last year. Week 1 last year played well against Oakley. We're up 10-0 at one point in time into the third quarter. Then they hit that halfback pass for a long touchdown and ended up coming in. We had chances at the end of the game to win it. It was one that was a good game for Colby, and I think they're looking for a little bit different outcome obviously tonight to start the season off, but some things that are positive. We talked about the group of leaders last year, and these young kids that are coming back are getting opportunities now to step into those roles this year. Brady Holzmeister will take over at quarterback, and a lot of times you look at it was not his first go around at quarterback. He's started 2 games 3 years ago, his sophomore year, and then last year started 3 games at quarterback due to injuries. So he's a kid. He's got 5 starts under his belt already. A lot of time in this offense, understands it, has had to play this role before. So a kid that I think is going to step in and really be a great leader on offensive general, I guess, so to say, for this group of kids.
Yeah, Brady's played, a couple different spots for him. He's played in the backfield. They split him out, so he knows where guys should be on the offense. One of those kids that's going to study his playbook, knows where everybody should be in and out of every play. And a kid that's, just tough, and he's going to give you everything he's got and make sure that he's got control of that huddle.
And what he likes this year is what he sees in front of him. And you and I have been here for a while, and I joked about this with Coach Gardner a little bit. Smallest guy on the offensive line this year, 205 pounds, and that's at center for the Eagles. And so, a couple years ago, that'd be your left tackle. We've had some small offensive lines. I'm not taking anything away from them. They were athletic, they were good kids, and they got the job done. But this is one of the biggest lines. It is the biggest line that pound for pound that Coach Gardner's had since he's been here, and the biggest line we've had for a long time at Colby. And I think, size is, you like the athleticism and that kind of stuff too, and these kids have that, but size goes a long way on those boys up front in getting some things done and being able to move some kids around against some bigger defensive lines that we'll see, especially going down the road a little bit in the season when we get into the Scott Cities and Ulysses and Holcomb and some of those kids. But it's going to be nice for Brady and for the running backs to see the big guys up in front of them this year, and that's going to be a big plus for the team because not only are they big, but these are kids, a lot of them that have, this is a second, third year starting for them.
Yeah, and they've got, size is great, and it's really great coming up against an Oakley squad who's usually bringing in a beef of a front up there. And but size is great, but these kids come in, they're athletes. Now you got Austin Hart winning state championship wrestling, Ethan J and Slinger and all those guys. I mean, they can move, they can pull, they can get out in the open field and throw a block for you, and they can wrap. I mean, they can do a lot of different things with that offensive line, so they're going to be very versatile up front and be able to do a lot of different schemes.
As far as the skill positions go offensively, again, we talked about Brady and his experience coming back, but you got a lot of young kids that got some time last year. Ben Matchell a little banged up right now. Might not see him for a while. We'll see how that plays out with a foot injury. But Chevin Martin, a young kid that stepped in last year as a freshman, got started the year on special teams and worked his way in more and more time on both offense and defense by the end of the year, and made some plays. He's going to be fun to watch. Dante Whitfield, we saw his maturity going from his freshman to sophomore year, and now sophomore to junior year. We're going to see even more out of this kid. Pieper, who's been solid for years, and he will be that pistol back this year. There's some experience in that backfield as well, but also some young kids that we're going to see fill in, and some great athletes like Chevin, and then Shipper's now stepping into that, and there's some young talent coming in as well that's going to make this fun. I think that's kind of got a good mix of the some of these young talented kids coming in, but also a lot of these kids coming back with a lot of experience, which will make it fun. This should be a solid group in the backfield.
In the backfield, you're right. They've got a lot of athleticism back there in a lot of different age groups. You got some seniors back there. You got some sophomores that are going to be able to play for you. You got some kids coming back. They've got a little bit of time last year due to injury, so you've got some experience back there. And, another name thrown out there, Tate Carney, a kid that came in and played very well last year in the backfield, scored, got in the end zone a few times for the Eagles, and they can do a lot of different things back there, and that should be able to keep legs fresh, especially early in the season where that heat's going to get to them, and they're not quite in game shape because you can't substitute that.
Yeah, definitely, and that's going to be a factor tonight. It's going to be hot. I mean, that's just all there is to it. It's been hot in camp for them working their way up to this, and it's going to be hot tonight and headed into the ball game as we're seeing here this evening. So it's one thing they've played through this though in practice, so it's not something unusual to them. But again, game situations are a little bit different, and you're going a little bit harder. As a whole, we look at this ball game tonight, and I guess the big keys for this, and it's kind of the same as you're going to say. I mean, if I were to find our week one keys from last year, it would probably be the exact same thing, but early season, taking care of the football, cutting down on penalties, and just not making the mental errors and the little mistakes, and the rest of the stuff kind of goes from there, but you got to build off that in week one. That's where you run into issues. Last year we had a fumble return for a touchdown in the Oakley game that was costly in the second half of that one. So I think those are probably the big keys. Again, in week one every year is going to be just taking care of the little things and not making the mental errors.
Right, yeah, offensively, take care of the football and play discipline, find ways to score. And what every coach is looking for in week one is go out, play good defense, play good fundamental defense, do your job, let everybody else do theirs, and then find a way to score. Because the offense is always a couple weeks behind the defense, and it'll get revved up and start putting points on the board. Just find a way to score and take care of things defensively. And
defensively, it's kind of like you're talking about. Again, just being assignment sound. Last year, again, pitching a shutout into the third quarter, 4 minutes left, I think, in the third quarter. And then they get hit on a halfback pass for a long touchdown. And that's the kids were talking about that today. It was yesterday. It was brought up in practice. What was the first play they scored on? And about 5 people, halfback pass. So, I mean, the kids remember it. And it's something that they're going to be aware of tonight, and that's one of the things with Oakley, and whether it was Coach Rath and now into the Coach Fun and Steel era, it's run first. It's ground and pound, and then when we see her sleeping or we see her cheating, then we try to trick you and beat you with a big play, and that's going to be the other thing tonight on the defensive side is not to give up a big play. If you can get a turnover and that kind of stuff, again, great, but not giving up those big plays will make a huge difference, make them earn it with long drives. You're going to have a good chance in this game. So, Thomas, I think it's going to be fun. I know you're going to have fun up in Rollins County, and enjoy that broadcast, and we'll be happy to have you back in the booth with us next week.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, be back with more of the Strut Insurance Services pregame show, the Eagles on radio, in just a minute. You're listening to Colby Football on 100.3 The Ride.
We need tonight's starting lineups when the Strut Insurance Services pregame show continues. You're listening to the Colby Eagles on 100.3 The Ride.
It comes from Flooring and Cabinetry at Northwest Kansas. The place to go is Northwest Kansas Decorating Center. They've been in business for over 39 years, serving the Northwest Kansas community with all their flooring and cabinetry needs. With many different types of flooring to choose from and cabinetry that allows you to pick your different wood and stain combinations, plus, of course, all the accessories to make it functional for you. See them today. Northwest Kansas Decorating Center, located on West 4th Street in Colby, for all of your flooring and cabinetry needs today. And while you're there, say, "Hi, Mr. Kerry Turner, sir."
Since 1994, Office Works and Home Furnishings in Colby has been offering solutions for your home and office needs. And while they still continue to do that, they also specialize in something else: comfort. Office Works and Home Furnishings is a proud retailer of Lacerta I Comfort beds with optional adjustable bases. Plus, on top of that, they're the only Lazy Boy Comfort Studio in Northwest Kansas. So if you're looking to make your home more comfortable this year, make sure you stop by Office Works and Home Furnishings on South Range in Colby.
This time of the year can get a little stressful on your finances. If you're in the need for any type of loan, come in and talk to their local grown loan officers at the People's State Bank. They live in this area, so they know this area. They pride themselves on getting you the fastest response possible. Since most of them have been in business or have come off the farm, they really do know the local ag economy. They want to take this time and thank you for your patronage at the People's State Bank, with locations in Colby, Oakley, Hoxie, Goodland, and McDonald. The People's State Bank, member FDIC.
Welcome back. It's time to look at tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Vernon Hurd, your Farm Bureau insurance agent in downtown Colby. For all of your insurance needs, see Vernon Hurd today. Here's Chad Jones with tonight's starters.
Welcome back. Time to take a look at starting lineups tonight here on 100.3 The Ride. Starting lineups brought to you by the good folks at Farm Bureau Insurance in downtown Colby. Stop by and see Dave Brown, your local agent today, with offices in Colby and in Atwood. Starting lineup for the Oakley Plainsmen tonight, we'll look at their defense. On the defensive line at end, we'll see Trace Engel, a 6', 215-pound senior wearing number 58. Leo Giroux will be the left defensive tackle wearing number 75. He's a senior. The right defensive tackle is Christopher Cox. He's a 6' sophomore wearing number 66. Colin Sharp will get the start at the other defensive end wearing number 56. He's a 6' senior. At the cornerback positions will be Austin Holstmeister, the number 21. He's a 5'11 junior. And Caleb Hefner will be the other cornerback tonight. He wears number 40. He's a 5'9", 147-pound junior. The linebackers tonight for the Plainsmen will be McCoy Raines, wearing number 5. He's a 5'11 senior. Jared Dirks, a 6' senior, wearing number 55. At the other inside linebacker will be Wyatt Murphy, a 5'10 junior, wearing number 24. And number 1, Aaron Rucker, will start at outside linebacker. He's a 5'7 junior. The free safety for the Oakley Plainsmen tonight will be Coulter Stoll, a 5'11 senior. Now let's take a look at the starting lineup tonight for the Colby Eagles. On that offensive line will be Ethan J., number 64 at left tackle. He's a junior for the Eagles. Brady Slinger will get the start tonight at left guard, wearing number 54, a senior for Colby. Casey Quiliano will be the center tonight for the Eagles. He's a senior wearing number 70. At right guard is Austin Hart, number 71. He's a senior for the Eagles. And Colin Gugelman will get the start at the right tackle position, number 63, a senior for the Eagles. The wide receivers for Colby tonight, at the X receiver, Bryce Arnberger. He will wear number 22 at receiver. He will play a little bit on the offensive line. He'll wear number 55 when he's filling in on the offensive line. At the wide receiver tonight will be Connor Edmondson getting the start, number 82, a senior for Colby. In the backfield tonight for Colby, it will look like this. The A-back will be Chevin Martin, number 29. He's a sophomore. Also, at the B-back position tonight for the Eagles will be Dante Whitfield, a junior for Colby, wearing number 11. The pistol back for Colby will be Matthew Pieper, the senior, wearing number 30. And a quarterback for Colby will be Brady Holzmeister, number 7, a senior.
This has been the Strut Insurance Services pregame show on 100.3 The Ride. Brought to you by Strut Insurance Services, where they serve the listening area and beyond with their insurance needs. Make sure you strut your stuff. Stay here. Kickoff is next. You're listening to the Colby Eagles on 100.3 The Ride.
Pizza Hut in Colby, Kansas is the place to explore flavor. Whether it's classic flavor like pepperoni, meat lovers, or super supreme, or something less traditional like the cherry pepper bombshell, the cockadoodle bacon, or nearly a dozen flavors of Wing Street wings. Pizza Hut in Colby, Kansas has your flavor tonight. Stop by for the amazing lunch buffet, dine in anytime, or call 462-8206 for delivery. Pizza Hut in Colby, Kansas. That's the flavor of now.
Fall has hit the floor at Plum Creek, and there's a whole lot more to come through the door of fall colors and styles. For the ladies, dressy to casual, including young ladies. A big selection of suits, men's western suits, sports coats for the men. Check out the name brand jeans and a whole lot of them. Summer merchandise discounts up to 50%. Hurry for the best selection. Remember, for the fall weddings, your formal wear, that Plum Creek men's tuxedos. That's Plum Creek Limited in downtown Colby.
It's time for the Eagles on radio on 100.3 The Ride. Now, with the call of tonight's game, here's Chad Jones and Thomas Wheeland.
Well, good evening and welcome to Denon Field in Colby, Kansas. As we get set for the start of the 2015 season, we had a chance to talk to the coaches and get their thoughts on the game. Jeff Quinzer going to join me in the booth tonight. Thomas Wheeland, we decided to... He's gone big time on us, basically, this week, Coach. He's making his play-by-play debut tonight for us in Atwood, Kansas. So Thomas not with us this evening. He's going to fill in for Ross over in Atwood, and glad to have you back up and join me in the booth. It should be fun.
Well, I'm excited to be here, excited to get this season started, and excited to see a good football game tonight.
And it should be a good one. You go back to last year, this has been a great pickup, in my opinion, scheduling-wise for Colby, getting back to these games with Oakley to start the season off, and then kind of get that Northwest Kansas rivalry a little bit again. It's a good game for both teams, Colby and Oakley, to judge, kind of get a judging point where they're at on the season. And really, you go back these last few years, they've been very, very good football games. Colby won one a couple of years ago and went down to the last play of the game, and Oakley had a chance to win that one. I think you might remember that one. And then we look at things this year, and now you've got, or last year, you go back, Colby leads 3-0 at the end of the first half against Oakley. They're up 10-0 at the end of the third quarter. The defense is dominating. Oakley runs a halfback pass about 3:40 into the fourth quarter of the game. Take that back for a touchdown, 7-10 at that point in time. Colby was still on top by 3, and then Oakley gets a fumble return for a touchdown and ends up winning that game 14-10 last year. And then again, it was kind of some of those early season mistakes, and that's the thing I think. And we talked about it both with Coach in the pregame show, and then Thomas and I on our keys to the game. And I think that goes any time on the first game of the season, Coach, and that's just take care of the ball. You got to take care of it and make less mistakes. And if you can, I think that's one of the big things you're really looking for in that first game of the season.
I think so, and like you said, this is a good matchup to start the season. Both teams, pretty level, even competition, and both teams enter the ball game tonight with a lot of confidence and feel like that they should come out on top. And it's one of those things where I don't think either team is overconfident or either team is feel like they're going to be outmatched. So it should be a competitive ball game, and just like a lot of the first ball games of the season, it boils down to the team that ends up winning on the scoreboard is probably going to be the team that makes the fewest mistakes, whether it be turnovers or penalties.
Captains making their way out into the field for Colby. For the Eagles, it's Brady Slinger, Austin Hart, Brady Holzmeister, and Ben Matchell, the captains for the Eagles tonight. Matchell going to play through a foot injury this year. He hasn't had a ton of practice time with that foot, but he's going to be ready to go. We'll see him mainly on the defensive side of the ball tonight, but could see some carries out of him too if they need.
You know, that's a bad deal for Ben, just starting off his senior season with an injury like that. But, you know, he's one of Colby's main returning players coming back off of last year's team. And, you know, if nothing else, hopefully he'll be able to lead by example. And, you know, he's a hard worker and gives it 110% when he's out there on the field.
The other thing tonight, Brady Holzmeister. And you look at this and people say, well, he's making his first start at quarterback tonight for the Eagles. Actually not the case. It's his first, I guess, opening week start for the Eagles, but started 2 games 2 years ago when Josh was hurt, and then last year actually started 3 games for Colby when Josh Matchell was out with injury. So actually his 6th start with varsity, so he's almost a season into it. So he hasn't been the opening day starter on those other seasons, but very experienced and knows this offense inside out and backwards, and then has been able to step right up and pick off up where Josh and them left out from last year.
I think the positive thing with Brady coming in and being the quarterback this year is he knows that this is his position. This is his team as far as being the leader on the offensive side of the ball. And so, you know, week in and week out, his teammates, his coaches are going to be counting on him in contributing and leading the offense down the field. And he's definitely capable of taking on those responsibilities and looking for great things out of Brady this year.
Captains meeting in the middle of the field for the coin flip. That's being discussed by the officiating crew. We'll get you the results of that here in just a second as we, again, are getting ready for the Eagles and the Plainsmen tonight. The kickoff for the 2015 season. Colby with a tough schedule right out of the gate. You get Oakley here tonight, a ranked team. We go to Scott City next week, and then go to Hugoton, week number 3 of the season. So it is a kind of a brutal schedule for Colby right out of the gates, and then you come back with Holcomb. Again, it's a tough little stretch there.
Well, you know, we talked about the matchup between Oakley and Colby. This is a great game for Colby to start off the season because once this game's over with, they're going to get into a tough road, you know, playing the teams that you just mentioned before. So a great opportunity for the Eagles to get a victory tonight and start the season out on a positive note.
Colby won the coin flip. They deferred to the second half, and Oakley has chosen to receive the football to start the game here tonight. Really not bad. It was extremely hot a couple hours ago, but got a little bit of cloud cover move in. You can hear the breeze blowing through here as well. It's made it kind of comfortable for the fans, but that wind will play a factor, I think, in the early part of this ball game, trying to throw the football. And for Oakley, that's not going to be a big issue. It's not Randall Rath anymore. It's Coach Fawn still in his second year, but he didn't. The system wasn't broke, so we haven't changed a whole lot. It's power running football that you'll see out of them tonight. And Colby, though, on the other hand, we'll put the ball in the air a little bit. So we'll see how that plays into that. At least early in this game, should die down as the evening goes on.
And a lot of times, the first game of the season, or the first few games of the season, your defense is always 3 or 4 steps ahead of your offense, and especially the passing game. It seems like it takes 2 or 3 games, 2 or 3 weeks to get things in sync on your passing game. So, with Oakley running the ball, they might have one notch up on Colby as far as the first game experience on the offensive side of the ball.
Rucker and Holzmeister back deep for Oakley. And Hart kicking out for Colby. It's a little squib kick up the middle. It's going to be picked up at the 28-yard line. And a decent return on the play that time for the Plainsmen, and that was Jason Markheim.
Pieper and Martin on the stop for the Eagles on the kickoff return.
Reminder the game online at nwksradio.com. You can catch it streaming video in high definition thanks to Farmers and Merchants Bank and Stroud Insurance Services. Plainsmen will break the huddle. Kendrick Smith back at quarterback. Coulter Stoll, watch him as well. He's the tailback, dotting the I. McCoy Raines, the fullback. Again, that fullback field back from last year. One receiver to the left side and one receiver to the right side. You have Rucker in the slot to the right. And Gable split out wide to the left. Offset I formation. Kendrick Smith under center. Gets a snap, actually bobbles the snap. The ball is loose, and Colby has it. Fumble right out of the gates, and the Eagles recover it. Brady Slinger gets on the football off the fumbled snap. One play, change the possession. The Eagles have the football in Oakley territory at the 38-yard line.
Nice job by the front three of the Eagle defense there with Hart, Jay, and Slinger putting a lot of pressure. Snap the ball, causing a mishandled snap there, and fumble recovery for the Eagles.
Split backs behind Holzmeister in the pistol. Handoff's going to go on the right side. Dante Whitfield coming from left to right in that formation. Gets in at the line of scrimmage. Gets forward for about a yard on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 9 to go.
Just a little off tackle play there. Nice job by the Oakley defense coming from the backside, making the stop for the Plainsman is Aaron Rucker.
Coach is signaling the plays in from the sideline. The Eagle players will check their armbands and line up. Edmondson split out wide to the right side. Whitfield in the slot now to the left. Man in motion from left to right across the formation. That's where the handoff's going to go. And getting it across the 35 and down to the 32-yard line for a gain of about 3 on the play was Chevin Martin. It'll bring up 3rd and 6 for Colby.
Colby just running a little toss sweep to the near side of the field, the short side of the field. Couldn't quite get the outside corner, but was able to pick up a yard or 2 on the play.
They're doing it a little bit differently this year. They have the signals coming in, and then Coach Sims, the offensive coordinator, yells in the actual play call. The other 2 are signaling formations. The diamond formation this time out of the pistol with Holzmeister. Takes the handoff up the middle. Keeper on the right side is Brady Holzmeister. He's going to get forward for positive yardage, but he's going to be well short of the first down as he gains about 2 on the play. And this is going to bring up 4th down, and we'll call it 4 to go for the Eagles.
You think that the Eagles would probably consider going for it. Got a little bit of momentum on their side, down in their territory. It'll be interesting to see. Looks like they are going to probably go for it.
Linebackers filled quickly that time for Oakley. I think the line of scrimmage was won by the offensive lineman.
That's one thing I noticed. It looked like Colby wasn't able to maintain blocks up front.
I formation. Here's a handoff. A fake to Whitfield. Holzmeister wants to throw. He's in trouble. Lobs it on the outside. Had a man in the area to avoid the grounding penalty, but it is going to be a turnover and down. The pass on the play intended, I believe, for Chevin Martin, who's out of the slot.
Pressure there by Sharp for the Plainsman. Defensive end did a nice job of containing Holzmeister. Holzmeister dropped back and was able to get rid of it to avoid the 5 to 6 yard loss.
The officials were discussing things there. They're going to wave the flag off. They had thrown a flag for intentional grounding, but again, there was a receiver in the area. Actually, it was Matthew Pieper that was in the area for Colby, so they'll wave the flag off. It's still a turnover on downs, but there would have been additional yardage tacked onto that had they called the penalty. So 1st and 10 to go. The Plainsmen take over again. Kendrick Smith, this time in a shotgun with split backs in the backfield and 1 receiver to each side. Long snap count. He's going to hand it off again on just a little sweep play to the left side. And good piece of running. Breaking tackles around the left side is McCoy Raines, and he's going to get it all the way across midfield into Colby territory down to the 44-yard line.
Making the play there for the Eagles was Holzmeister along with Tanner Elias. Oakley did a nice job of getting that end hooked, and Colby had a hard time stringing it out. Allowed him to get the corner turned on the Oakley sideline, and the Oakley running back was able to pick up a nice chunk of yardage there.
The officials are going to say he stepped out of bounds right at midfield, though, so still a 1st down. The ball right at midfield. 2 receivers to the right side now for Oakley. Shotgun formation. And we have a whistle here and what do we got? We're talking to Coach Gardner here. I don't know if he thought Gardner was calling a timeout. Gardner said, no, I wouldn't call a timeout. And now they'll let Oakley go reset the play clock and let Oakley reset again here. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Oakley going to run in the same formation again. With Gable and Oakes to the right side, 2 backs in the backfield to the right of the quarterback, Kendrick Smith, and they're just lead blockers. This is student body right. Kendrick Smith hit hard in Colby territory by Dante Whitfield, but again, he gets it down to the 44-yard line, and the gain is 6 yards on first down.
Nice job there by Kevin Martin coming up and forcing it inside from his weak side safety spot.
Second down and 6 to go now, or 4 to go, excuse me, for Oakley. Gable to the left side. Aaron Tucker wide to the right side. Tied into the right as well, which is the short side of the field. Two backs split behind Kendrick Smith under center. Gets the snap, hands it off on the left side, and this is the first carry of the game for Coulter Stoll, who's hit at the line and gets about a yard on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and 3.
Just a little misdirection play there by Oakley. They faked it to the right, gave it to the tailback going to the left. Colby did a nice job of getting some penetration in there. Couldn't quite see who that was, but made contact with the ball carrier, but wasn't able to wrap up and bring him down, and got picked up about a yard on the play.
Tackling something too early in the season that you have to be, getting there and making the hits one thing, but you got to finish those off. Rucker in the slot to the left. Gable split out wide to the left side. Two backs in an offset I formation. Kendrick Smith gets the snap. Takes the handoff, looking to throw left side over the middle, and it is incomplete. Overthrown, intended for Aaron Rucker on the play. Good coverage by Chevin Martin for the Eagles.
Nice job there by the Colby defensive secondary. Most of the receivers were all covered up, and the pressure up front caused the Oakley quarterback to get rid of the ball probably sooner than what he wanted to.
So 4th and 3 here for Oakley. Colby with a big opportunity here to make a stop. Good crowd on hand here. Blackout night at Colby. And the fans all wearing their black, supporting the Eagles here.
I bet they're kind of glad that we do have a little bit of overcast, a little bit of a cloud in the sky.
That would have been very hot earlier today. Smith to pass this time. It's just a quick pass out into the flats, and it's brought down, or pulled in by Aaron Rucker. He's brought down by Tate Carney, but again, that's a gain of about 10 on the play, and that'll be a first down for the Plainsmen in Colby territory at the 32.
Nice play call there by Oakley. They knew they needed about 5 yards, and all they did was just have their outside receiver on the right side run about a 5-yard hitch, and nice pass play there, and Tate Carney came up and made the tackle, but after a Plainsman first down.
Wide to the left side this time is Gable. To the right side is Rucker. With the slot back to the left this time, Kendrick Smith gets the snap, takes the handoff, rolling to his left side, and one of the little screen pass looking underneath to McCoy Raines and throwing off balance and kind of in a hurry that time was Kendrick Smith. It's incomplete, 2nd and 10. And I think it's, 3 passes already from Oakley?
Right.
About 8 minutes left in the first quarter. That might be a record.
Nice job there by Armberg, the right defensive end, putting pressure on the quarterback, Smith, from Oakley to get rid of the ball. If he would have had a couple more steps, I think he probably would have been able to get set and would have hit the back coming out of the backfield.
Colby again in that 5-2 defense this year. We'll talk about the lineup here in just a minute. Gable and Rucker both to the left side for Oakley. Tied into the right side, 2 backs in front of Kendrick Smith. You get the snap, and this is that same play they ran earlier, this time to the left side, though. And Colby all over it. Dante Whitfield flies in there and makes the stop for the Eagles and stops Oakley for a loss on the play. Also in there for Colby that time was Tanner Elias.
I just talked about Armberger there on that previous play. He didn't get in on the play, but because he was able to string that out clear to the sideline, he was able to slow that play up and allow Whitfield and who'd you say it was on the play?
Whitfield and Tanner Elias.
Tanner Elias to come in and make the tackle. So defensively, Armberger did a nice job again.
All right, so it's 3rd down now and about 13 to go for the Plainsmen. The Colby 35-yard line. Kendrick Smith in the shotgun, rolling to his right side, being pressured, gets away from one defender, has another in his face, completes the pass underneath, and it's brought in on the play by McCoy Raines out of the backfield, but Raines brought down after a short gain on the play. He'll get back to the 30-yard line. That's going to bring up 4th down and 9 to go. So gain of about 5 on the play.
Nice job there by Brooks Curry from his left defensive end position, was able to put pressure on Smith as he was trying to get outside, and made him hurry the throw there a little bit, and Holzmeister came up from his safety position to make the tackle.
Cameron Gable wide to the left side, and the slot to the left is Aaron Rucker. They put McCoy Raines as a wingback on the left side. Kendrick Smith alone in the backfield with the tight end to the right. Smith's going to roll to the left side. It's a little screen over the middle, and it is pulled in, and then breaking some tackles is McCoy Raines, and he's going to be brought down at about the 11-yard line. So a gain of 19 on the play and a first down for the Oakley plays. And that's tough because Colby had that defended well. It was a great pass. They had that defended well. They had three guys there in the area, and Kendrick Smith for Oakley couldn't have thrown a better pass to his running back there, McCoy Raines. McCoy Raines did a nice job of catching it and getting upfield and picking up a few extra yards after the play, after the catch. 6 minutes, 55 seconds to go. We're in the opening quarter. Game 1 of the season. No score. One receiver to each side of the field. Offset I formation. Kendrick Smith will get the snap, hands it off on the right side. This is Raines looking to get around the corner. Down after a short gain on the play. Oakley just trying to get outside, run outside that right end. And like you said, Holzmeister did a nice job from his safety position coming up and making the stop for about a 2-yard gain. Second down and 8.